we're going to call this part 2 of mental health, because I didn't get to some of the main topics I wanted to hit. Look, attention is super important, and if you don't pay attention to maybe this message, then you won't be able to learn the value from this message. And so that's how valuable attention is. Whatever you pay attention to is the thing you can learn from. If you're not paying attention to it, good luck learning from it. So, that said, there are other huge key mental health issues. Now, everybody knows about mental health disorders and depression and all types of abnormalities, psychological abnormalities, abnormal psychology as they call it. So you've heard of all of these major depression, bipolar, borderline personality disorder, anxiety, ADHD. There's tons of different psychopathy. You've got schizophrenia, and there's just lots of different mental disorders. And I'm no expert in any of those. No problem in saying that I'm just not an expert in that, or in most things, quite honestly. But if you need to learn about some of those things, I encourage you to. But for the general majority of the population who are not dealing with major psychological debilitating issues, this is who that podcast is for. This podcast is not for those people. Those people need to get professional help. I'm not going to be able to help them that much, because I'm not that good at, I'm not that focused on that thing. But what I am good at is behavior, cognitive behavior, and I'm familiar with narcissism. And narcissism is a key word. If you're not familiar with narcissism, you're probably being preyed on by a narcissist who's taking advantage of the fact that you don't know what narcissism is. Let me say that again. If you aren't very familiar with the concept of narcissism, please take the moment right now. Google it. Look into it just a little bit. Familiarize yourself with the concepts, the approaches, the behaviors, the techniques, the attacks that these vampires launch on you psychologically. Narcissists are vampires. They feed off your attention. Their goal is to take your attention because it's the only thing that they find that makes them valuable, because they think if you like they don't have any internal sense of something they're doing makes them valuable. So the only way that they can feel valuable, which is what they crave, is for someone else to tell them that they're valuable or important. And the only way that they can do that, or the way that they get people to do that, is by getting people to pay attention to them. The fact that the other person is paying attention to them is what they use as the clue to tell them that they're valuable. So all they want is for you to pay attention to them. And that behavior comes out so nasty and so vile and so despicable. They will attack you, they will lie to you, they will cheat, they will steal, they will do anything, they will physically attack you. They will lie to your face, they will make you feel like you're the problem, they will turn everything around on you. Narcissists are an evil plague. And you call someone a narcissist when their narcissistic behavior becomes so habitual that it's all they have. Now, sometimes some of us, myself included, are going to do something that more or less resembles or signifies or could be kind of aligned with what you would call a narcissistic behavior. That doesn't make you a narcissist. What makes you a narcissist is thriving off and feeding off of other people's energy and having no gratification and added value yourself. If someone's coming to you and offering you something, that's different than them being demanding and criticizing, and there's so many different... the narcissist is such a terrible creature you never want to be around. It is an evil demon that draws on your actual spiritual life force, your real energy, your attention. It attempts to distort your perspectives. It attempts to into lies. It attempts to make you misunderstand reality. They're trying to make you doubt reality, as that you're capable of understanding and knowing it. They want you to doubt that, so that they can tell you whatever they want and have you under their control. That's a narcissist. And if you're dealing with one of those in your life, I'm so sorry. And, my advice, get out, get away, flee, don't ever come back, shut it off. The only way this narcissist will stop trying to prey on you is if you stop feeding him. It is feeding on your attention. Stop feeding it. It's hungry. It's coming back. Stop feeding it, and it will go away. It goes where the food is. Stop feeding it. Don't feed the vampires. Even if not for you. Even if you feel like, it's okay, I'll pay attention to them. No, the problem is usually these people are close to you. It's your mom, it's your dad, it's your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your brother or sister, your roommate, your friend, coworker, your boss, your manager. And so when you realize that you're in this situation, that's how they're doing it, you want to try to encourage them out of it. If you see narcissistic behavior in yourself or in other people, you want to encourage away from that. You want to discourage the use of that behavior. And the way you discourage the use of behavior is you remove the reinforcer. Reinforcer is a psychological word meaning if I do a certain behavior and then this external event happens, okay? And then because of that external event, being a little bit vague, now in the future, I'm more likely to do that behavior because of the response that I got or what happened in the world. They call that a reinforcer. So if I did some behavior, and this is very specific, the word gets misused a lot, reinforcement, reinforcer, this is what it means. If you do a behavior, if an animal chooses a behavior, does a behavior, and then it observes or perceives or understands there to be some type of consequence or result from that behavior, and that result or consequence leads to that behavior happening again or more likely, more often in the future, well, then that's what we call a reinforcer. So it doesn't matter what the event happened, what the response was, whatever happened after that behavior, if it makes the behavior more likely, we'll call that a reinforcer. Period. The thing that makes it a reinforcer is that the behavior that caused it is then more likely in the future. That's what makes it a reinforcer. So look, if your kid acts up and you yell at the kid, well, maybe they wanted the attention. And what you've actually done is increase the chances that kid will act up in the future because you gave your kid the attention when they acted up and not maybe when they were playing nicely or when they were asking nicely for your attention. You waited until they screamed at you. I'm not saying you or anything in particular. I don't have kids, so maybe I just don't know better. But I can say from a behavioral perspective, and the kid's not a narcissist in that scenario, just to be clear. But from a behavioral perspective, if it causes an increase in likeliness of that behavior in the future, it's called a reinforcer. And often parents will give their children attention, which is the reinforcer they're looking for, at the inappropriate times. So if you give your kid attention when they're acting up, and you do that all the time, and you don't give them attention other times, well, you're actually encouraging, you're reinforcing them acting up. you're causing them to do it. You're rewarding them. You're actually reinforcing it by giving them your attention in those times. Even when it feels like you're yelling at them, you're telling them not to do, you're acting mad, you're whatever you're doing, you're hitting them. I hope not. If they get your attention, and that's what they want, that's the reinforcer they're looking for. It's a reinforcer. The opposite is a punisher. So we call it a punishment when the consequence decreases the likeliness of the behavior. So this is how you punish narcissistic behavior. You decrease the likeliness of it through punishment, which is, honestly, I don't like to address it because the real punisher to a narcissist is to not address it. The real punishment to the narcissist is you pull your attention away from them. That is really the thing that stops that narcissistic behavior from coming toward you, is you don't feed it. You don't give them the attention. They want to act like that, leave. They want to act like that, they want to talk to you like that, don't respond. Don't sink in, don't fight, don't enter the fight. As soon as you've entered the fight, you've lost. They've tried to get you to enter the realm to fight with them. That's what they're trying to do. So as soon as you enter the realm to fight, to debate, to defend your point, to make your point, any of that, you've already lost. That's what I realized. If you have a point, stick to it, hold to it, walk away. If they're saying you did this, well, just say, no, I didn't do that, I did this. Walk away. Stick to your point, walk away, don't engage. Wish I had better advice for it. I know it's really hard when you've got somebody like this around you. It's terrible, I hate it. But try to discourage, try not to reinforce narcissistic behavior. And so that's just something I really wanted to bring up as a key factor in mental health recently, is I've noticed this narcissism in a lot of people, and I think it's under addressed for how big of a deal it is, how much of a problem it is, especially when your attention is what's gonna drive you here, what's gonna make you make your podcast, what's gonna make you send your message out, what's gonna make you actualize yourself is when you have this abundance of attention, that extra attention that you were using to fight with whoever because they wanted to engage you about something that was a lie in the first place, just because they wanted your attention to make them feel better about themselves. Like, why don't let them eat at you, and don't do that to other people if you can. You know, a lot of people like to be left alone. I like to be left alone. Just keep that in mind. We're here to take care of people. We're here to encourage good behavior. We're here to make our declarations. We're here to pray. And that's what we should do now. We shall pray. I'm just going to do it right here with you. Please let the world be healed from these narcissists. Please allow the people close to me to find other ways and to choose narcissistic behavior. Please allow me to forgive them for their narcissism. And please allow them to forgive me for my trespasses, my mistakes, and my behaviors. I think it's healthy to pray, to set your declarations, your intentions. I'm going to do another shout out here real quick. Amishi Jha, I hope I pronounced your name correctly, but on Joe Rogan you can find a episode by Amishi Jha. Amishi Jha. Amishijha. Last name Jha. Jha, I think. She talked about using intention and declaration in the morning, basically through meditation and channeling your mind. She was able to help Marines sleep through the night in active combat zones, and the ones that took the training had 100% success rate sleeping through the night, and the ones that didn't had very like sub 50%. Forgive me if I'm mixing the numbers up. But then the Marines that didn't take the training saw the Marines that did take the training sleeping through the night, and all begged for it, well, asked for it. They all requested to get the training so that they could sleep through the night. And that's the value of intentionalism. declaration, and attention.